Hello rock and metal fans, welcome to Iridium Rock and Metal Reviews, and today I'm going to carry on with another edition of the best rock and metal songs of the year. So 2015, so we're getting there, so only a few to go. So some good tracks on this year. In fact, I've got 9 to talk about, which is great. So we're going to go from 9 to 1, 9 being my least favourite, obviously up to number 1 being my favourite. So these are all good tracks. Love all these tracks. So first of all, number 9, a band that I've spoken about quite a bit on this channel, and that's Blackberry Smoke. Southern rock band, sort of a lot of country in them, you know, but definitely a southern rock band, and their song called Payback's a Bitch from Holding All the Roses album. So even though I love this band, Holding All the Roses was not one of my favourite albums from them, although it's still good. It's still a really good album, but it was probably, the album before this was probably my favourite from them, so I was expecting quite a bit. The Whippoorwill was a great album, probably my favourite album from Blackberry Smoke. But if you like a bit of Skinner, that sort of sound, you'll love Blackberry Smoke. Payback's Bitch is a bit of a harder rocking song for them. Definitely for me the favourite song on the album. That's my number 9. My number 8 is Sweet and Lynch, and the song Time Will Tell from the Only to Rise album. So obviously Michael Sweet and George Lynch teamed up in 2015 to do this project, which was not as good as, it didn't, for me, not as good as classic Dokken, not as good as classic Lynch Mob, not as good as classic Striper either, but still pretty good as a whole. And Time Will Tell was a classic 80s sort of song, sounding song. It's a really consistent album actually, but not right up there with my favourites from the year. But Time Will Tell, yeah, some great guitaring obviously from George Lynch. It's actually fantastic. And some soaring vocals from Michael Sweet, of course, the busiest man in metal. And my number 7 is Londe Halter and the song Walking on Water. So this was basically Jean Londe, who's one of the best singers in metal at the moment, teaming up with the guitarist out of Wigwam and the actual guitarist for his own band, the Jean Band as well. And it's a concept album about Dracula, which is pretty cool. Dracula's Swing of Death is the album, and Walking on Water is one of the singles off it. Really heavy, proper metal, some amazing singing by Jean Londe, and some real heavy riffing in this. A great song. Easily my favourite pick off that album, which is a really good album as well. Make sure you listen to that. And of course, Jean Londe's voice, man. If you haven't like sort of listened to him yet, because I'll keep banging on about him, make sure you do. Make sure you do. That's my number 7. My number 6 is Tremonti and Dark Trip from the Cauterize album. So Mark Tremonti, Alter Bridge guitarist, brilliant songwriter and really good singer, started doing his own project and the Tremonti solo album. So this is the second album, and Dark Trip is a brooding, heavy song, but a slower sort of pace song. It's a real sort of deeper cut on the album, but definitely the standout track for me. There's something about it that grips me. It's got so much atmosphere. Tremonti's got a great voice, and like I said, amazing guitarist and songwriter as well. So check that out. Check all the Tremonti albums. If you like your stuff a little bit heavier, but always with melody, Tremonti's great. My number 5, Iron Maiden, If Eternity Should Fail from Book of Souls. So it's been a while since Maiden have had an album out. This is the last one. Apparently might get something next year, 2021, I hope. But If Eternity Should Fail, what I love about this song is it's so epic, and it made a difference from the stuff they was usually putting on the front of the albums. They usually put their singles and their lot of 3.5 minute songs, which I think Maiden, when they go epic-y, they're much better. If Eternity Should Fail is great. Bruce is in great form despite his troubles with his throat during this period. And Book of Souls was a really good album. I'm really looking forward to what Iron Maiden have got to come next year, hopefully. But you know, I think they've been really consistent. If Eternity Should Fail is a brilliant song. My number 4, and from a band that don't usually appear on my lists, but this is an outstanding song, and that's Toto and the song Burn from their album 14. Obviously their 14th album, studio album. Man, this song, this is probably the song that most people listen to this channel would be surprised that I've mentioned. I do like a bit of Toto. I think they're, it's not, when I hear a Toto album, I don't usually like the whole album, but I will like quite a few songs on it I think are really strong. And this may be my favourite Toto song overall. It's an absolute epic of a song. So much feeling and emotion in it. This would appeal to anyone. If you're not going to listen to any other song today, listen to Burn. It is absolutely outstanding. Toto and Burn. My number 3 comes from a band that I always go on about, and that's Eclipse, out of Sweden, Eclipse, and the song The Storm from Armageddon Eyes. Probably up there as there's a couple of albums around this period that were really strong, probably the strongest out of this discography so far. The Storm is an absolutely amazing track. Eclipse mix melody with heaviness perfectly. They are an outstanding band, one of the best bands out there at the moment. The Storm is so melodic, yet sort of takes you on a real sort of atmospheric journey. Absolutely amazing. Check out Eclipse if you hadn't already. The Storm. This comes to my number 2. Oh man, my number 2 and my number 1. You know what? My number 2 and number 1, forget about 2 and 1. They're both going to be at the top. I can't choose. These are just perfect songs. And the first one to talk about is Striper and Yahweh. Man, this is, I keep saying this is the closest so far they've come to showing that they can do a 10, 11, 12 minute epic song. This song is so metal. It's about 6 minutes long. It's got so many twists and turns in it. It's so epic. It's so heavy. Man, if you like, you know, I keep going on about people not giving Striper a chance because of their Christian band. If I put this on to any metal fan and they didn't like it, they're not metal fans. It is unbelievable song. Soaring vocals, twists and turns, so heavy riffing, proper power metal. Absolutely brilliant. And that's tied with Queensryche and Hellfire from Condition Human. Man, another perfect song. Absolutely love Hellfire. Harks right back to it's like a mix of The Warning, Rage for Order, Mind Crime and Empire. Just a mix of those 4 albums. It's just perfect. If this album, Condition Human, it's my favourite Toto album with the new vocalist. If this album came out around that time, back in the 80s, between all those albums, those classic Queensryche albums, I would have loved it. It would have been one of my favourite albums, along with all those that were. Amazing vocals, amazing guitaring. You know, this is sort of tied also with a few tracks on Condition Human that are absolutely top notch. 10 out of 10 songs. Perfect song. The perfect song. Another band that are doing it, and another great album hopefully coming out this year from Toto. Beginning of next year. So that's my list. That's 2015, my favourite songs. Obviously we've only got 4 more to go, and that's that whole series wrapped up then. Thanks for listening. This is Chucky, by the way. You've never met him before. And if you want to subscribe, please press the red button, bottom right hand corner. Chucky.